So every investor who's actively buying property knows that one of the most decidedly critical hinge points of any real estate deal is that very first conversation with a motivated seller. I mean, it's that first pivotal moment when you got to not only gather all the information on the property and the seller's situation and their story, but you've got to make a connection. You've got to build rapport, maybe pre-frame and pre-negotiate a little in your favor. So if you've ever felt uncertain or maybe a little flustered or borderline scared of these encounters, these seller calls, and how to have the conversation effectively and concisely and without sounding like a freaking idiot, rest assured you are not alone. But what if I could wipe away all those insecurities for you by handing you an awesome, time-tested, proven script for handling seller calls? One that's not only simple and straightforward, but easy to follow and use, and that you can straight up swipe and deploy in your own real estate investing endeavors. Let's talk about that. Hey guys, JP here. Today, I want to share with you a script that we use in our own real estate investing business, our wholesaling business to be specific. And as you can see here, we use it for sellers who call back from our postcards. Actually, it's when we call sellers back who have called from our postcards, and I'll explain that in a minute. First and foremost, though, you can actually download the script you see here on the page here. So there's a link somewhere. Just download it, swipe, and deploy. Use it to your heart's content. What I want to do in this video is give you kind of the backstory of why this script exists, and I want to walk you through it and explain what I think are some of the critical important pieces that you need to keep in mind. Everything that's on the script is there for a reason, and it may not be super obvious. So, just want to walk through and make sure you understand the psychology behind some of it and the importance of some of the pieces. Let me give you the backstory, okay? I've been in the real estate game for 15 years now, as of the time I'm making this video, and it's easy for me to forget how challenging some things were way back in the day when I first got started, like talking to sellers, for example. At this point, it's very natural and easy and comfortable for me, and has been for many years, to have a conversation with the seller in which I gather all the information that I want to gather and simultaneously kind of pre-negotiate and find out the story and find out their core motivation. When I brought in my friend James into the business to handle our acquisitions, I thought, he's going to knock this out of the ballpark. He's great with people. He's had a sales background. People like him, but he struggled. And I was surprised by how much he struggled having the conversations in an effective manner. And I realized, you know what, darn it, the guy just needs a script, And at some point it'll be natural and normal and he won't need the script perhaps, but for now he needs a script. So I put one together, and that's what I'm giving you right now, all right? I think it's pretty effective, and I'm happy to pass it along to you. So this is the exact script we use when sellers respond to our postcards. Now, you may be wondering, why are you not answering the phone when people call? There's kind of two schools of thought on that. Some people say you should send people to a 24-hour recorded voicemail because it's less threatening. A lot of people, they're shy about their motivation for selling a house, and they don't really want to talk to a person yet. They're just trying to kind of test the waters. On the other side of the coin, people say, well, you're going to miss the boat a lot, because if you don't answer your phone, then a lot of people are just going to hang up, and you're going to miss out on a lot of leads that way. I say, why not have your cake and eat it too? We have a Vumber number, vumber.com, and we rent a phone number from them, and it records every single phone call that comes in, every message that's left, but also all the hang-ups. So we call the hang-ups back. And what we say is, hey, we got your call from our postcard, but somehow the message didn't come through. I'm sorry about that, but wanted to reach out and just make a connection with you. Do you have a do you have a house you're looking to sell? So that's kind of the approach that we take for a hang-up if they don't leave a message. At the same time, we get to have the non-threatening voicemail aspect of it. So it actually says on our postcard, and I'm actually looking for a copy of it. I had a copy around here somewhere. Here it is. It says, call our 24-hour recorded message to get more information. No one will answer. And it says it's a recorded information in several places. So I think we get the best of both worlds there. So keeping that in mind, every call we make is a call back, right? So here's some of the important reminders that I give James, and that I think we should all bear in mind right there at the top of the script. Number one, smile when you talk. Because why? Because you can hear it when people smile. Can you hear it right now? I'm actually smiling as I'm talking right now, and you can tell in my face. I don't know, my face is not making a sound, but somehow you can tell when I'm smiling, not just because I laughed, but you can tell. So if you can get in the habit of smiling when you talk, it will come through and it will affect how people perceive you. Reminder number 2 is to avoid awkward pauses. You know, one of the things James did early on when he started taking these calls is he would have a conversation with somebody, and then he would start typing their answer into a document. And of course, they hear type, 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 type on the keyboard. And I was like, man, it kind of feels like they're talking to a telemarketer, you know, and it causes these awkward pauses in the conversation. And I said, just don't do that. You just need to have a conversation with them. And even if you're just writing it down and they don't hear the typewriter, you're still causing these long, awkward pauses. So what you should do instead is record the conversation. Make a habit of recording every single conversation, and that's why this reminder is here. Number 4 is to press record on your call. We do a lot of our calls through Skype, and we have a Skype recorder called Pretty May. It's about $30. You can get it $30 one time, and we record every Skype call on Pretty May, and we have an app on our Android phones called Call Recorder, Total Recall Call Recorder. And it was like $3 or something like that. It automatically records every call incoming and outgoing on our cell phone. So bottom line is we have a recording of every call, so we can just concentrate on having a conversation that seems genuine and real with the seller and not have to worry about gathering information, because then you can go back and either you or your virtual assistant can process the data from that call and put it in note format. Okay, makes for a much more effective encounter with the seller. And then this reminder right here is that it's okay to say, you know, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back with you on that. The reason I had to put this in here is because I was finding that James, in his nervousness, was feeling this compulsion to have to answer every question that he gets asked from an area, from a position of expertise. Well, the reality is, I don't even know everything, and I've been doing this 15 years. If I say, you know, I'm not sure, I'll have to get back with you on that, it doesn't invalidate my credibility. It actually makes me more credible because it makes me seem human. So I want to remind him and everyone else that you don't need to fake it till you make it. Just be real. Just be yourself, and feel free to say, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you on that if you don't know the answer to one of the questions that they ask. So that covers the reminders that are at the top of the script that should always be there. So let's get into the script itself, all right? You dial the phone, bleep, bloop, bloop, bleep, bleep. Ring, ring. Hello. Hi, can I speak with Marcia? Whatever the name is of the person who left the message. Yeah, this is Marcia. Hey, Marcia, I'm James. I'm returning your call. You responded to our postcard about your property. Do you have a moment, or did it catch you at a bad time? Now, let me pause. That is a critical question. And let me just say this. You should always ask that question anytime you ever call anybody on the face of the planet Earth. Do you realize that every single phone call is an interruption of something? You're always interrupting something. So it's a common courtesy, in my opinion, before you just launch into talking, to ask them if you can talk. How frustrating is it when you're in the middle of something important and somebody just starts talking? You immediately start feeling like this uncomfortable, oh, I just got trapped, or how do I get out of this, or whatever it is. What you want to do is to completely alleviate that tension and that stress. But even more so, you want to get buy-in for the conversation, because the fact is they don't know you. They're suspicious already of who you are just from the fact that they don't recognize the voice on the other side. If you can get them to give you verbal permission to talk, you have opened the door like an inch already. So not only is this polite, but it's getting a shy yes out of them right from the get-go. So always, always, always start in with, hi, here's who I am. I'm returning your call. You responded to our postcard about your property, so that's the trigger as to them remembering what this is about. Do you have a moment, or did I catch you at a bad time? And if they say, yeah, you caught me at a bad time, then it's just a matter of, okay, well, when will you have just a couple of minutes? I just want to follow up. And then you call them back whenever that is. 99% of the time they'll say, yeah, go ahead. Great. Well, as you heard on our message, on our 24-hour recorded message, my partner and I buy and sell houses in the Memphis area, or insert your area here. And I just have a few quick questions to ask you about your house and your situation. Is that okay? Again, I'm getting buy-in. They're going to say, yeah, okay. Well, what's the address of the house you'd like to sell? Obviously, this is always a good first place to start just because you need to know the address, but it also just kind of gets them talking in a very non-threatening way. They're already expecting to share that information, so it's a great place to start. Great, can you tell me about your house? Now, usually, I'll just stop right there. Tell me a little bit about your house. I'm asking them intentionally an open-ended question because I want to know where their brain is going to start. They may start with the features of the house, the bedrooms and bathrooms. They may start with how long they've lived there. I mean, who knows? They could start anywhere on the map, but there's a little bit of intel you can gather based on where they start. I just want to get them talking and comfortable giving me information in the most open-ended way possible. Now, these sub-questions are here in case they don't already give you this information when you ask them the open-ended question, okay? They may or may not. But if they haven't already told you, by the time they kind of reach their natural period, their natural pause in answering this question, if they haven't told you the bedrooms and bathrooms or what are the features of the house, then this is your reminder to make sure and ask them as a follow-up question real quick. Is it currently listed with a realtor? Do you currently owe anything on the property? How much? This is a sticky one for some people. It doesn't have to be. Just ask it, okay? 99% of the time, nobody has a problem answering that question. Do you currently owe anything on the property? Yes, we do. Okay, how much do you owe? It's not it's not an invasive question almost always. If it is, if they're like, well, I don't know, if they give you any kind of lip back, then you just say, well, you know, I'm just trying to size up the situation, see what we can do. It's actually a matter of public record and I can look it up, but I just thought it might be helpful if you could just tell me. And then with that follow-up question, I've never had anybody not tell me how much they owe ballpark on their property. So next question. Okay, great. Can you tell me a little bit about your situation and why you're thinking about selling right now? This is where, you know, you've already got them talking. You've got them opened up with some very non-threatening introductory information gathering questions. Now you're trying to get into their motivation. You're trying to politely uncover their real core motivation for selling here, if it exists, and you're trying to measure, you know, what their level of motivation is. So can you tell me a little bit about your situation and why you're thinking about selling right now? They may answer with a long answer. They may give you a couple of, like, maybe one little sentence. Well, I don't know, I just got your postcard and I was thinking about selling. Then you want to explore a little further. Well, do you have any, do you need to sell quickly? Do you have any, this is a good one. Do you have any plans if you don't sell? That's a great question because it gets them thinking and maybe revealing their level of motivation. If they don't sell the house, are they going to have to rent it? Or are they just going to continue living in it? Or are they going to be in a real pickle? Another good sub-question to this is, so just to clarify, would you say that you really need to sell or maybe you just want to sell? So these, again, are alternate follow-up questions if you didn't quite get what you were hoping to get out of this question. All right. Next question, what kind of condition is the property in? They may say, well, it's in great condition. Then you have to drill a little deeper, don't you? Okay, well, what kind of repairs and maintenance does it need right now? And then you want to ask them, what's the condition and the age of the major systems? And you can just go through them one at a time. The roof, the heating and air, the water heater, the plumbing, the electrical. By the way, we make sure and have something about all of these major systems in any property that we are marketing to our cash buyers. We want to at least let them know how many layers are on the roof, what type of heat and air, and maybe how old it is, what type of hot water they're dealing with, whether it's gas or electric, and the age of the hot water heater, what type of plumbing, and what type of electrical. We just give quick bullet points of all the major systems because a lot of our buyers want to know that right from the get-go. So altogether, what do you think it would take to bring the house up into tip-top shape? How much do you think if you just had to guess? You know, they're not experts in estimating repairs, but you want to try and get some idea of how they're sizing up the repairs, whether it's accurate or not, because it's part of, not only is it going to give you some information on the property, but it's kind of part of their tell as to how good or bad they feel like the property is. You know, we just bought a house recently. It was an estate situation. The house is really not in that bad a shape. Now, it's an inheritance, and so there's a lot of stuff, and it's like there was a cat lady, so there's cat smell, and you know, it's kind of gross when you go in. And so when we showed up to view the property, they actually gave us like a face mask to put on, which kind of made me laugh. But we played it up and we put it on and we're like, oh, this place is, yeah, you're right. This is really messed up. Bottom line, they felt like it was a total gut job. And it was really just cosmetics. It just need to be cleaned out, cleaned up really good, and have a little wood replaced. And, you know, it's probably $5,000 worth of work. So anyway, that's why I'm asking. I'm not really trying to get an accurate repair estimate out of the seller. I just want to know what they think the repairs are, and then gather a little extra information based upon that. How quickly would you like to sell? Are there any pressing time constraints that you're under right now? It's an important question, obviously. Great. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate you answering my questions. So next, let me send your information over to my partner. He'll review it. He'll get back to you as soon as possible. He may have some additional questions, or he may just have an offer ready for you. Is that okay? And again, you're getting buy-in from them, acknowledgement that what you just said is okay. All right, great. Well, what's the best way to reach you again? Confirm that. Is there anything else? And just one final kind of question to toss at him. Is there anything else you can think of at all that we should know or that we should take into consideration before doing our research and getting back to you? Wonderful. Thanks. We'll talk again soon. Now, once we ask this question at the end, you'll be surprised at how often we uncover something that is very important to know and good to know in processing this whole situation that didn't come up in any of the other questions. Now, what you'll notice is I didn't make him an offer. The goal here, again, this is my acquisitions guy who's using this script. And so I don't want him to make an offer. I want him, in fact, to, you know, if they ask him how much you can offer me for my property, I want him to be able to say, I don't know. We still have to assess the situation. I just need to gather the information and hand it off to my partner. That way, you don't have to step up to the plate and start offering numbers or start answering too many questions. This is really an information intel gathering process, and it shouldn't be seen as anything other than that. But there is some subtle pre-negotiation going on within the context of these questions. Even if you are the owner of the company, I still recommend taking this approach and having kind of a two-step approach, because this gives you the ability, without the pressure of having to commit to anything, to have that first conversation. And even if your partner is your spouse or your friend or whatever, being able to pull away, go size things up, and then come back and make an offer is a much stronger position to be in my opinion, rather than just whipping one out of your butt right there in the conversation. A lot of people think you should make an offer right there in that first call. And I just don't think that's smart, in my opinion, because I don't even, you know, if I put myself in the shoes of a seller and somebody's making me an offer on my property in that first conversation, I don't believe their offer. It just doesn't seem believable to me that somebody could even do that without some additional consideration and thinking and research. So anyway, that's it. I mean, it's not a long script. It's literally just a hair over a page, and it's not complicated. You can deviate from it if need be, obviously. This is here as a guide to help walk you through gathering the information you need initially, but also doing some of that pre-negotiating and setting the stage for this relationship, and for you to come back with the next conversation being in a really strong position. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Leave a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are on this. If you like it, if you don't, if you have any other thoughts or suggestions or ideas, or also, if there's any other scripts or checklists or anything that we haven't given away before, we're always looking for good ideas from the peanut gallery. So I'd love for you to leave a comment below and tell us what kind of forms or docs or checklists or scripts are you missing personally that would benefit you and your business if we could make them available to you. We may be able to pull them out of our own arsenal, or we may have a colleague or a friend who would loan us something from their arsenal that would just meet your need perfectly. So that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. JP and Patrick out.